Good morning. Today we'll see about Bresenham circle drawing algorithm. So in this algorithm, now we'll see about like Bresenham line drawing algorithm. As we have seen the decision parameter, which is taking decision based on the sign of that decision parameter and which point should be selected, which is the nearer point to the boundary of that particular object. So in line drawing algorithm we have seen which is nearer point to the line boundary. In this Bresenham circle drawing algorithm we will see which point is nearer to the circle boundary, and that decision we are taking based on what will be the sign, either it is negative, positive of that particular decision parameter. So in the circle generation we will have this particular situation where xn yn is the point on the circumference of circle, and we have to take decision between these 2 points like A and B, which point is nearer to the line to the boundary of this circle and which point should be highlighted or which point should be selected. So this is our decision to find out. So different situations in this case. First case, it has given both of the points are inside the boundary of circle. Here we are using basic equation of the circle, that is function of circle is equal to x square plus y square minus r square, where x and y are the points. These are the x and y coordinates of the point on the circle boundary, or inside the circle boundary or outside the circle boundary, and r is the radius of the circle. So in this case, if this function of circle equation gives negative sign, that means it is inside the boundary of the circle. If it gives the positive sign for the result, then it is outside the boundary of the circle. And if it is equal to 0, function of circle equal to 0, then it is exactly on the boundary of the circle. So these cases are discussed here. Function of a, as a is inside in this diagram, the sign of this function of a, that is x square plus y square minus r square, will produce negative sign. Function of b, again it will be negative, and sum of these two functions, sum is equal to function of a plus function of b. Again two negative values are added, it will produce again one more negative value. Second case, we can see point A is on the boundary of the circle, so it will produce 0, x square plus y square minus r square equal to 0. B is inside the circle, and as B is inside the circle and A is producing 0, the sum is negative. Then third case, A and B are, A is outside the circle boundary and B is inside the circle boundary. So in this case, function of A is positive, function of B is negative as it is inside. So its sum or its result, function of A plus function of B, may be negative, it may be 0 if these are equidistant, and it is positive if A is away from the boundary of circle than B. So this is based on, the sign is based on these particular distance of A and B from this boundary of the circle. In case number 4, point B is on the boundary of circle and A is outside the boundary of circle, and if you take addition of these two, function of A and function of B, we will find plus sign for A, 0 for function of B, and it will produce positive result. For fifth case, A and B both are outside the boundary of circle, so function of A is having positive result, function of B is positive, and sum is also positive. So you can see here, function of circle xy is given. If it is less than 0, then point xy is inside the circle, as we have discussed. If it is equal to 0, function of circle, then the point xy is on the boundary of circle, and if it is greater than 0, then it is outside the boundary of circle. For the point A, circle function is given as function of A, as we have seen here. See this, point A are having the coordinates xn plus 1 comma yn. So its function of circle, that is for this point, function will become x of n plus 1 square plus yn square minus r square. And for B also we can define that particular function circle. So these are given as x n plus 1 square plus yn square minus r square. For function of B, x n plus 1 square plus yn minus 1 square minus r square. And sum of these two, function of A and function of B. If sum is negative, then select point A. So what is meaning of this? If sum is negative means the function of B is greater than function of A. The value of function of B is greater than function of A. It is greater means it is away from the boundary than point A. B is away from the circle boundary than point A. So point A is nearer to the circle boundary and select point A. If the sum is positive, then select point B, means E is away and you have to select point B, which is nearer to the circle boundary. Function of circle xy is function of A as it is given, function of circle xn plus 1 comma yn. So function of A equal to xn plus 1 square plus yn square minus r square. Function of B also it is defined. We can put initial values of the point, initial point from where we are starting, that is xn equal to 0 and yn equal to r. That is the first point on the circle from where we are going to start to draw the circle. As we are using the circle symmetry for drawing this particular circle using Bresenham's circle generation, we are only drawing or generating 1/8 part of the circle. Remaining part will be generated using the symmetry of the circle. So first point, that is xn equal to 0 and yn equal to r. So putting these values in function of A, we will get this, and function of B will get this particular equation. And sum is given as 1 plus 2 minus 2r, as it is given, like here it is, instead of 0 it should be 1, r square minus r square is cancelled. Here is the correction, as function of A is equal to 1 and function of B is equal to, as it is given, 2 minus 2r. So ultimately sum is equal to 3 minus 2r. Generalized form for this equation is given, S equal to function of A plus function of B. So it is adding function of A with function of B, where we have kept the coordinate values for A and B point and adding this function of A with function of B, and that is named as S. Now once you decide like P is our the point in this particular stage, and now we have to again decide from this, now this is passing, the line boundary is passing through this particular circle. As P is nearer to this circle boundary, we have selected P, and again it is passing through these two points A and B, and which point should be selected. Again same logic we have to use. In this the coordinates are for A, that is xn plus 2 comma yn, and for B xn plus 2 comma yn minus 1. And here we can see like function of A, we are keeping these values of coordinates xn plus 2 comma yn in the equation, and giving xn equal to 0 and yn equal to r. Initial value we are finding like 2 square plus r square minus r square and equal to 4. For function of B also, we are keeping these values in the basic equation of circle, that is x square plus y square minus r square. So here xn plus 2 square plus yn minus 1 square minus r square, and keeping xn equal to 0, comma yn, here correction is yn equal to r, and function of b is reduced to this particular value. So we'll find function of b equal to 5 minus 2r. So sum is given function of a plus function of b. Function of a is 4 and function of b is 5 minus 2r, so it is 9 minus 2r. So new sum we can find with general equation function of a plus function of b. We can find out this as function of a is added with function of b equation, and solving this we will find this with this particular arrangement. The equation is arranged in this particular form, where first part of the equation is the equation, previous equation, which we have evaluated as a yes, and remaining part is 4xn plus 1 plus 2. So we can find yes new, sum new is equal to yes plus 4xn plus 4 plus 2, that is yes new is equal to yes plus 4xn plus 6. So if yes is greater than 0, initially select B. So why we are selecting B? If s is greater than 0, that means point A is away from the circle boundary than point B, and B is nearer to that particular boundary, so we are selecting that. So here we are keeping these values, function of A xn plus 2 square. So here this point will be selected. If instead of this point is nearer to the circle boundary, then these, out of these 2 points we have to select which point is nearer. So in this case coordinates will be changed for A and B, and keeping these values we are finding the equation. So function of A, keeping the values we will find, and xn equal to 0, yn equal to r, we will find function of A equal to 5 minus 2r. This is for s is greater than 0. And function of b is equal to this equation, putting the coordinate values in the basic circle equation. So sum new we can find with the general form of the equation, function a plus function b, and evaluating and reducing that to get in the form of previous equation, we will find s new equal to s plus 4 xn minus 4y in bracket close plus 10. So this is when we are taking next point as a nearer point to the circle boundary, then we will find this sum new. So steps for Bresenham circle generation algorithm, these are: accept the radius and center coordinates from user and plot the first point on circumference of circle, that is x is equal to 0 and y is equal to r. Calculate the initial value of decision parameter, that is s is equal to 3 minus 2r, by keeping x equal to 0 and y equal to r. If we are using octant symmetry property to plot the pixels, then until x is less than y, we have to perform the following steps. If s is less than or equal to 0, update s by s equal to s plus 4x plus 6. As we have seen this, we have evaluated new sum. Increase x with x plus 1, else update s is equal to s plus 4x minus y plus 10, and increase x is equal to x plus 1, and decrement y by y minus 1. Determine symmetry points in another octants also, and move each calculated pixel position xy on circular path centered as xc yc center, and plot coordinates value as x is equal to x plus xc and y is equal to y plus yc. So that's all for Bresenham circle drawing algorithm.